Welcome back, everyone. We just watched the Super Hot crew defeat the Copenhagen Wolves, and D-Man and Quickshot are here with me to break down the action. Gentlemen, quick notes about picks and bans. What stood out the most for you guys?
It's the Kale pick, instantly. Banned out so many times and so many teams. We talk to them every time, they're like, you have to ban Kale. And I think Mima just proved out why. Yeah,
I completely agree. Top lane Kale, it's something that a number of players talk about, and Mima really delivered. I do also want to say it was interesting to see Kautot on Fizz. He had a pretty good performance. Can't really say the same for Selfie on Twisted Fate. He pulled a number of red cards where they should have been yellows, and I do think he needs some more work on that champion, because every time we see him play TF, there are similar problems, especially in the early game. He's not a big impact TF player.
Yeah, a little bit of hit and miss there for the TF4 Selfie. And the game was very back and forth, and I dare say kind of sloppy from both sides. But let's highlight a couple of moments. First one is a team fight won by the Super Hot crew. Let's get that replay up on the screen and illustrate what they did well here.
Yeah, so at this point in the game, if you actually look at it, Super Hot crew are down. We can roll this clip out, and you'll see that the Super Hot crew are going to start a fight. Mr. Rawls plays super aggressively. What I really like about the Super Hot crew engage in this situation is that there's literally no hesitation. They jump into the fight, and Airwax goes in solo. He jumps in without the support of Youngbuck, and Copenhagen Wolves just keep going in drips and drabs. We can roll this clip out at full speed, and you'll see Mr. Rawls just gets a great intervention to prevent all of the damage from Kautot. They end up getting 3 kills, they secure a Baron. And it was one of the times where, yeah, Super Hot crew had a great engage in this moment. The Copenhagen Wolves reacted poorly, but it happened so many times back and forth by each respective team.
But that was the time, that was the triple kill. That Mima suddenly 6-1 after that fight, got going. You can't do that. He gets the Runehound's Hurricane, gets going, he will destroy towers and get a lot of kills.
Absolutely, illustrating what a late game Kale can do. And then the Super Hot crew were on their way, but then they got flanked by Copenhagen Wolves in very nice fashion. So let's pull that replay up on the screen, because I feel like very good decision making by Copenhagen Wolves in this point.
Yes, I completely agree. Super Hot crew were pushing, they were a little confident, 8,000 gold in the lead. Roll the clip out as well. And I just want to highlight miscommunication between Mima and Selfie. If we slow down to half speed, you'll see Selfie is about to throw himself into a Zhonya's Hourglass as he gets hit by the Dragon's Rage, and unfortunately didn't communicate with that with his team. So you losing that invulnerability of the intervention. We can roll the rest of the fight through at normal speed, and the basic summary is that the Copenhagen Wolves had a great flank, they got the kills, they then secured Baron. But it was another team fight that it was more about Super Hot crew making mistakes than necessarily about the Wolves making a positive play. And that was just the theme throughout the entire match.
Yeah, and it just showed, you just said it, from the very first blood that the Copenhagen Wolves got, they were so sloppy. Every part of the play, from both teams, honestly, was very sloppy back and forth action. You got to give credit to the Super Hot crew. They finally closed it out, but Copenhagen Wolves had opportunities to win this game as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and kudos to Impaler for keeping us cool and closing out the game in front of his home crowd. For now, we're going to check in with you guys at home, because earlier we asked you to hit us up on Twitter and let us know which European player will perform the best here in London this week and why. And here are some of your answers. The first one is from I Have a Kid. SHG's Impaler, he is on his home turf, he is improving as a SHG jungler each week. He is going to be on fire. I don't know about the early game, but he definitely was in the end game.
I'm not sure about the fire either.
It's nice to see him playing Jarvan. I think Impaler's one of those players that when he's comfortable on a champion, he smashes with it. But it takes a little bit of time to find that comfort pick, but a deserved win.
Yeah, absolutely. The second was from @Shrony Boy. I think Xpeke will perform amazingly. He lives for the crowd and surely wants to make up for the last few weeks of Fnatic. Well, Fnatic had some good showings, but that loss last week versus Alliance, heartbreaking.
Yeah, but I think it was 4-0-2 in that loss on Twisted Fate. He played very well that weekend. It was just that one strategic decision that actually wrecked them. Otherwise, they would have easily gone 2-0. They're looking very good right now, Fnatic. We'll see how they perform. We're hearing very good things about their scrims.
Yep, we'll see that in our last game of the day, of course. The next one is from @BrandOnly. I think Froggen will perform spectacularly in London. Never underestimate an all-star with the crowd behind him. Nice.
That's the truth. His Yasuo was fantastic. He couldn't 1v2 like Bjergsen could, but he put on a good performance and his team ended up winning. Ooh, come on. Look, he played well, and what I love is Froggen's interaction with this incredible crowd. Huge props for that as well.
Absolutely, great job by him. The last tweet is from @TonyCCC. It's gotta be Kerp. The guy has been proving time and time again that the trackball is far too real. Maybe a third LCS MVP. We're going to see him in action in a second. What do you guys think Kerp will pull out?
Well, they're up against Rocket, Overpow, fantastic mid laner. Kerp has been playing fantastically well. There's a reason everybody's picked him up in his fantasy league, including yourself, Trevor.
Yeah, of course. I'm hoping it delivers some very tasty fantasy points, and his use of the trackball is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely is. Well, thank you guys for those great responses, and remember that if we see your tweet on air, you'll get a code for the new Primetime Draven skin. So keep tweeting to us throughout the games at LOL Esports, along with the hashtag LCS. And now let's head back over to Joe and the Fee Show for our next match.
Thanks a lot, guys. Up next, Millennium are going to take on Rocket. Last week was a very strong week for Millennium, actually, as they managed to go 2 for 0 with solid wins over both Gambit and the Super Hot crew.
And in both games, they played pick comps, and it's really the style which fits Millennium as a team. Of course, when you have your mid laner Kerp, playing assassins left and right here, pick comps just work out so well. And in general, they're just in full control in both games. It was never actually a question if they're going to lose or win. It's simply just, we're not actually going to win the game, because they started out so well and took full control.
We heard a little bit about Kerp earlier, but I want to touch on our MVP from last week as well. He was absolutely formidable on his way to picking up another 2 wins in week 4 with Millennium.
Yeah, his Twisted Fate against Super Crew last week was fantastic, beautiful to see. And his overall stats for the season, I mean, it's a bit weird with Kerp here. If you look at the wins for Millennium, 6 wins, he has 10.11 KDA, that's great. However, in 4 losses, he has 1.25 KDA. So he really is the guy deciding for Millennium if they win or lose. Also, his goal per minute, he has the 5th highest in the league, but he has the lowest average CS of mid laners. So he's clearly just getting all his gold by killing people left and right, and obviously that's great.
Also gives a lot of map pressure as well, which I think sets up Creaton to have a bit more freedom.
100% agree. I mean, we keep talking about how the synergy between mid lane and AD carry, and Creaton, because Kerp gets so much attention from the enemy jungler, and because he makes so many plays, opens up for him to simply come in, pick up a few kills. His KDA is great. I mean, 6.6 is the 4th best in the EU LCS, so Creaton really shining as well with all the attention Kerp gets.
Well, their opponents today, Rocket, received a forfeit win in their first game in week 4, and then returned to that spring split form by pulling off another convincing win over the Super Hot crew.
It was almost like seeing Rocket from last split. Slow and controlled game, took full control of objectives, they took down 3 out of 4 dragons, they took down 10 towers, only lost 3 over to the side of to the enemy team. So overall, Rocket just looked very good, and maybe it's because of Veggie being back. I mean, they keep talking about how the coach is so important for them. He was gone the first few weeks. Sadly, he's not here in London with them. However, I'm sure he's been practicing with the team and they are prepared.
Yeah, and also Overpow and Jankos performed well last week, and we know that they're 2 players that really need to be on top form for Rocket if they're going to hit their targets this split.
Both Overpow and Jankos have been the playmakers this split here for Rocket, and they are basically the people the rest of the team are looking at when the game actually starts here. Can Overpow get a few kills in the mid lane, or can Jankos get some good ganks early on here to set everything up? It's what they need. We've seen it before. And we just have to say, even though Rocket picked up 2 kills last split, or last week, of course, not last split, they got a bit more than 2 wins last split. However, 2 wins in the last week, it's not on the level yet we want to see them, and they still have a lot of things to improve on.
Well, while Rocket sees this match as a Polish battle between Creaton and Celaver, Millennium's AD carry believes that they can capitalize on Xaxus' tendency to sacrifice himself for the team and come out ahead.
Creaton is from Poland, so it's going to be, Polish battle, so we really want to prove that Celaver is better, so we'll try to win.
I think we should be able to put Xaxus behind, because he's always trying to sacrifice himself for our team, and we can capitalize on it.
There is the bomb coming out of Ziggs. It's going to go low. Will he finish off here, surely? He does actually get a kill before, and it's onto Xaxus there before.
Against Rocket, we have some really hard time, sometimes in scrims, because they do some really bad stuff, or they play extremely well in scrims, but then they don't do the same in LCS. On the other hand, we are maybe the worst team in scrims, but we win a lot more LCS games than scrims actually.
Yeah, it's very important to us right now, because before we aim to the top 3, as everyone does right now, we have to go like 7, 6 and so on. So right now it's most important for us to beat teams like Millennium.
I think confidence has been a problem for Rocket. If you think back even to when they were doing really well, they still weren't somehow happy with how they were playing.
Indeed, it's been a big issue for them, and that's what I hope Veggie maybe can fix for them. And I just have to touch on the scrim thing from Kerp. He told me yesterday they've been scrimming ROC quite a lot, actually. And in every game, within the first 5 minutes, either Overpow or him would die. Just every game. So I'm really looking for some mid lane action in this game here.
See some ganks focused on that mid lane, and they're definitely going to be important as to how this game all plays out. But for now, let's take a look at the lineups for the two teams, starting off on the blue side with Millennium. They are Kevin in the top lane, KottenX in the jungle, Kerp in the mid lane, the AD carry Creaton, and Jree the support.
On the red side, we have Rocket with Xaxus in the top lane, Jankos as the jungler, Overpow in the mid lane, Celaver as the AD carry, and VandeR on support.
Well, you guys have been voting on the schedule at lolesports.com for which teams you think are going to win today. So let's check out what you thought about this match. According to the numbers, you believe Millennium will win by 69%.
Well, they have to be the favorites. I mean, they went 2-0. Yes, Rocket did the same thing, but still, one was by forfeit. And also, of course, just winning the one game against Super Crew. We need to see more from them. They need to be more consistent. Millennium, of course, talking about being consistent, need to do the same thing. Because they go 2-0 next week, they just go 0-2, and we have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, we're not exactly talking about the two most consistent teams in the LCS right now when we look into this game. We said that last week about Millennium, and they kind of proved us right on that front, that they have a horrible week and then a good week, and some weeks where they'll just go 1-1 and look different on different days. So it's all about finding a constant level for Millennium, even if that's maybe not as high as the peak in some of the games, but at least a little bit more, you know, flat line, so that they can get more wins than losses, which of course everyone wants.
Of course. And I actually think one of the reasons they are so inconsistent is the pick and ban phase for Millennium is very hard to predict. I mean, they leave Kassadin open and just like, yeah, enemy team picks the Kassadin, they try and go fizz against it, go 0-5 and lose the game. And then afterwards they're like, yeah, we should have banned Kassadin, blah, blah, blah. But they keep doing these things, but they just leave random things open. So we need to see what they're doing in this game.
Well, we'll see what sneaks through this time here in London. I can tell you the first bans out of the gate here, Lulu and Kale taken away by Millennium. On the other side for ROC, they've got rid of Ziggs and Jax.
Again, Ziggs here against Kerp has been one of the big picks. And we see the same thing from Millennium now. Kassadin blue side. They love to do it when they're on blue side because Kerp doesn't actually play it, so they don't want to first pick it, so they ban it away. Pretty much every time they're blue side, and once they're purple, they leave it open and try and counter pick it. So
the first pick then was not messed around with whatsoever by Millennium, picking up Lucian straight away for Creaton. And we see that 95% pick rate has Lucian, and over a 50% win rate as well. We'll see if the flip of the coin percentage is good for Creaton this match.
But this Lucian pick here must have been very easy for Millennium to predict, because Rocket in every single game they just ban away Twitch.
Yep.
Celaver clearly doesn't play it, so and they feel like they need to ban it. So it's easy for Millennium to say, okay, we expect you to ban Twitch. If you do, instant first pick Twitch. Instant first pick Lucian, of course. Celaver now has to find a different AD carry. Could be Jinx. We've seen quite a lot of Jinx lately.
And Celaver himself brought out the Jinx last week. And we see there, Jankos not looking happy at how this has all gone down. The Lucian pick coming in very quickly, and he does not look like that was the optimal plan here, let's call it, for ROC. They take the Lee Sin and Braum as well for the support role. Look at Millennium. They are definitely on plan right now, taking Elise for the jungle, taking Morgana for Jree's support.
So standard jungle picks here. We keep talking about the elite of junglers, Elise, Evelynn, and Lee Sin. Elise and Lee Sin being locked in this game here. And then Morgana as the counter pick to Braum here in the laning phase. Very good with Black Shield. You stopped pretty much just a stun from Braum to have from happening there, and it's very hard now for Braum to actually engage onto you in the laning phase. And of course Black Shield will help in the team fights as well here. So Millennium know exactly what they want to play.
So what do we get then from ROC's side of things? It's Lucian, Morgana for Millennium's bottom lane. Corki we've started to see a little bit more of at this stage, and obviously ROC feel that Celaver, as we heard in the video, is going to be a big part of this win.
100%, and they want to prove that he's the better Polish AD carry compared to Creaton, as they said in the video, of course. And this Corgi pick, we've seen it quite often in NA, and it's simply because it's actually very strong early on in the laning phase, can deal with this Lucian as well. You need to remember, however, Corgi is not a hyper carry, so once you go to the real late game points, where of course the magic damage won't really scale up with the last Whisper, he's building the armor penetration, and that's where Corgi starts falling off. But still, early mid game, very, very strong.
And also they take LeBlanc here, something that's been banned a lot against Millennium. And I think ROC's saying, okay, if we leave LeBlanc open and try and counter pick here with our last choice, that Millennium may just go in there and say, okay, Kerp's going to take LeBlanc and we'll be left without it. But that also now gives Millennium the chance to say, okay, it's LeBlanc, what does Kerp want to play against it?
Yeah, will Kerp actually try and go Twisted Fate against it? That would be very risky if it did, so it's very smart by Rocket to pick it early on here. And wow, I love this here. Syndra is such a good pick, or can be a very good pick, against LeBlanc in lane. It's a very hard matchup to play for both of them. The thing is, Syndra, she can outrange LeBlanc with her Q, and she can also stop the jump, the W from LeBlanc towards her. If you land your ball, the stun, once she jumps, you actually stop her mid-air, you land your Q, and once you hit level 6, you have so much burst damage. So you actually have a lot of outplay chances with Syndra here, and I definitely want to see what Kerp can do on it.
Well, let's see what Rocket round their lineup with. Looking for a top lane pick for Xaxus. Already got the duo locked in. The Police in for the jungle. The Blanc for Overpow in the middle. What will Xaxus go for? He's already shown he's not shy of playing AP top laners, but you'd also have to say probably the two main ones are actually banned out here with Lulu and Kale.
And Ryze would be the only AP top left. However, you don't really want to pick Ryze into Aurelia. It's a very hard matchup for him. So he has to go towards something else. And we've seen this Aatrox pick from him before. Puts a lot of pressure early on, especially with Jankos on the Sin. However, once you get to the late game points, we need to see what he can do on this Aatrox here. He's not a terrible late game champion, but however, he's not going to have the same impact as Aurelia in late game team fights.
We'll see if Xaxus can really pick things up. We heard from Millennium that he plays or has been playing a similar role to what Darian has done sometimes for Gambit. You know, okay, you end up losing out in a couple of scenarios, picking up a few more deaths than you maybe would really hope for, but if you can free up other areas of the map for your team then to be taking towers, be taking dragons, whatever that is, that can certainly work out for him. And guys, since the players have now chosen their champions, have you changed your minds? Send us a tweet at LOL Esports telling us who you think will win using hashtag MILWin or hashtag ROCWin, and we'll check out the results shortly. In terms of team comp, seeing a couple of different picks to the norm here in the EU LCS today.
Yeah, we see Rocket looking very aggressive early on. You have the Corki pick. LeBlanc, of course, is very strong in laning phase. We need to see how the Syndra LeBlanc matchup will go. I mean, again, both teams, there's room for outplay for both of them. However, Syndra, just looking at just the numbers and the stats here, definitely, or not definitely, will have a very small advantage. I know at least Kerp will think so, and that's why he, of course, picked it into LeBlanc here. But overall, Rocket are just looking to be so aggressive early on here and trying to win all the lanes here and trying to snowball the game.
Well, will we see the 10 KDA Kerp, or will we see the, I think it was 2 KDA Kerp?
1.25.
Okay, one, not even 2.
Yeah,
okay,
not
all
even
the 1.25 KDA Kerp. Either way, that's something that Kerp himself, I think, really needs to work on. The fact that he either wrecks everyone or, well, gets wrecked himself. We'll see in this one. He's going up against LeBlanc on the side of Rocket, playing Syndra into this one as we get into the match. Millennium taking on Rocket. Going to be a very interesting matchup. And again, we're at that mid-table point here once again, with Millennium trying to find some consistency in their play, string through more than 2 wins in a row, although they did that in the first week, funnily enough, with their only loss against the Copenhagen Wolves.
Look here early on, Overpow is starting Flask. I know a lot of mid laners in Europe who really disliked starting with Flash because you're so squishy early on. You won't have the extra HP from the Dawn's Ring, won't even have the extra AP. But Overpow is basically expecting a lot of poke coming from Kerp. Again, we talked about how the Q from Kerp has longer range than the Q from LeBlanc, so you can use it, stay behind, or stay far back, use the Q to poke him again and again here. But Overpow, risky start with Flask here. We need to see if it pays off, and we need to see what Kerp, of course, can do on this Syndra.
So then Millennium going early on, trying to find someone inside of that brush. There was no one there, funnily enough. Also want to just touch on trinkets at the start, because we've got a slight variance. KottenX going for the sweeping lens. Millennium, funnily enough, the ones that at the start of the split were picking up the scrying orb every now and then for their opening moves. Funnily enough, might help them out in this game if they'd have had it to check that red side brush. Either way, the wards go down early on. Looks like we're going to be seeing a fairly standard start, with Lee Sin starting his blue. Elise on the other side for Millennium will go down and start red.
Yeah, so it seems both of them actually just going to take their own buffs here. KottenX just checking, making sure Rocket isn't waiting for him in this bush here. Obviously, you don't want to face check early on, give up first blood, and also delay your own jungle, give up multiple buffs to the other team. So, wise enough checking, and Kevin as well staying around the blue buff to see if Rocket were late invading on it. And actually, VandeR walking in just to ward it.
Let's have a look. There is who you guys think are going to win this one. Millennium 62%. Coming down a little bit from the LOLesports.com vote, which was a thorough 69%. Look at this, Jree. He's having to go at Jankos, but I'm not sure that this is the best idea. He's gone a little too deep for the Q from Jankos. Point blank, dodge out, and he hits the binding at the end. Jree looking very confident.
Yeah, this is not the first time Jree has done this thing. When you lane swap, if you put your jungler on the opposite side of the map as where your dual lane is, it's very easy for the other team to move up, to either try and stop you from taking the blue buff or at least poke you down. So Jankos took a lot of damage from Jree just moving up there, knowing there wouldn't be anyone else to help him, because of course, normally the top laner won't even be in the lane at this point. He's just waiting around to join in with the jungler.
So Xaxus back into lane. We kind of skipped over the start for him where he took the red buff on his own. And gives him the level 2. Also getting a ward in there just to see if anyone was waiting for him as he comes down to lane.
So this was the reason Rocket started the way they did. That's why Jankos had to start his own blue buff, because Xaxus would pick up the red buff, and then Jankos would move straight to the enemy blue buff here. So multiple buffs for Rocket, no blue buff for KottenX. Now he's moving with Kevin towards this bottom side here. You can just clear this out, get the timer from it, and Rocket won't be able to have the timer.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an annoyance for them moving forward. Also, with these 2v nothings as they are right now, although Aatrox is moving down towards that bottom lane, we'll see who gets the better of the farm. And once they see Aatrox, I tell you what, there's 4 men there. There's enough CC maybe to think about going under the tower. As it is, though, Kevin's just going to stick to the back of KottenX, and they're going to do a bit of counter jungling.
Multiple people coming in.
Oh, this could be bad. KottenX already down to half here, and they're going to focus KottenX. He's going to go down. Overpow will pick up the first blood of Millennium, going a little bit too deep there, and not realizing that Rocket had already got their number, really. Pushing around, Overpow gets the first kill and gets himself a red buff now as well.
Perfect start. They spotted them moving in towards the jungle here and just knew there's only 2 members because they could see both Jree and Creaton in this bottom lane and just move straight in, picked up the net, going aggressive because VandeR joins in.
And why not? 3 versus 2 down there. Kevin actually TPing back up to this top lane now after he lost his teammate just a little earlier on. Not the ideal start for KottenX, that's for sure. 0-1-0, picking himself up a pink ward actually after dying. And this mid lane, we talked a lot about it earlier on, being fairly quiet up until now, apart from Overpow just sauntering into his own jungle to basically last hit KottenX and steal that blue buff away. It's Kerp who's got a slight advantage in CS after close to 5 minutes.
Yeah, but a big wave for Overpow to pick up here. And you see the way he plays the lane, stays very passive, picks up a CS, then backs away. Don't even want to try and trade with Kerp. And normally you see LeBlanc being very in your face. He knows his limits, staying back and just trying to pick up as much farm as possible.
So KottenX actually giving a bit of help to Kevin in the top lane. Trying to stop Celaver bullying him really out of that one, and it's working for Millennium. 17-4 CS between those solo laners as VandeR going to get involved as well, and that will actually force Millennium to start backing away, especially since KottenX had to go back off and get his farm on.
VandeR's been running around quite a lot. He based, ran all the way down to bot lane, now been running all the way up to the top lane. He's actually very far behind in XP, but it is your support. You can sacrifice some XP by moving him around here, making sure he can assist the right lanes. Millennium keeping both Creaton and Jree down this bottom lane to just push the wave up and try and get a little bit of poke on.
Yeah, actually landing there, and Jree can't knock him on that so far. That little escapade into the enemy jungle before that almost cost him his life. He did manage to hit 2 bindings in a row on that front as well. So
the thing is,
looking good on that front.
Yeah, while it was good he went in, got some poke on here, of course, he didn't have to use the flash or anything. Millennium should actually have moved both him and Creaton earlier towards his blue buff, because again, they were in the lane swap, could move up and stop Jankos from doing the blue buff if they were in position fast enough, and therefore trade 2 buffs with each other. Instead, because they didn't, or because Jree came in so late, Jankos could take the blue buff by himself with no assistant. There was no top laner, no dual lane to help him out, and also then go straight towards the enemy blue buff and pick it up as well.
And leaves Rocket after the kill that followed as well in the lead. And that kill onto LeBlanc. We saw earlier on with Febiven's LeBlanc, once you get going, it can be sometimes a little tough to to actually stop you. But for now, it is Kerp in that mid lane that's leading in terms of the farm, 53 to 49 CS, but that will be staying fairly even throughout this one. Meanwhile, top lane also being pressured. Lee Sin's going to be joining in with both Celaver and VandeR. That turret actually really, really low here. So next wave, possibly, that could be the first turret for ROC.
And we've seen some old school lane swap actually in this game where the junglers, they go up and help the top laner to pick up some farm, push the wave down. Down the bottom lane we had Jankos and Xaxus for a long time. And of course, KottenX was up in his top lane, helping Kevin out as well. So both teams just been happy enough getting some farm on the top laners and have the junglers help them, and now both of them are back to do their buffs, which means the dual lanes should be able to at least get some damage on the towers if they want to. Could also be the time for them to recall now, either rotate down to this bottom lane and start a dragon if the enemy team didn't move yet.
Just want to touch on the CS between Irelia and Aatrox. We see Xaxus finally getting a bit more free time as Jree's been left alone. Creaton headed back and he's clawing back the CS deficit that he had just a little bit earlier on to Kevin, who also now has free time in the top lane because Celaver went back and picked himself up the BF sword.
And we need to see if Millennium actually want to go for this dragon, because Kevin with teleport can join in. Celaver won't be able to do it. You also have at least a great jungler for doing dragon early on, so they should have all the pressure on this bottom side of the map with their dual lane. They would just haven't been have any focus on the dragon actually so far. Basically, KottenX been either defending top lane or farming, and down the bottom lane they've just been happy farming away. So Millennium not putting any focus on the dragon so far.
Well, we'll see there's some wards going down there from ROC's side. See if they are.
I mean, again, two people top lane here. This should be the easiest dragon in the world.
You would think so. And look at this, Jree. He disturbed the last blue buff. However, this time, he may have bitten off a little bit too much because Overpow's coming in. This is a great read from ROC, and I think Jree could have maybe expected that, considering what happened the first time that this went down.
So, yeah, the first time they actually went in Millennium, invaded into the jungle, they were spotted by wards in the river. This time around, exactly the same thing. The ward was placed by Xaxus at the dragon while Millennium already had a ward, so they saw it go down, and yet Jree moved up there to try and be annoying again, or maybe even steal the way or get the time off the buff. And Rocket just simply spot him moving up with single support, just a weak sheep moving towards you, and you just go straight and kill it.
That gives Rocket almost 1,000 gold lead. Dragon still untouched. We do have Celaver slightly behind in farm. Kevin just trying his best at range there, throwing his ultimate out. Just trying to make sure that he does get some of that gold into his pocket. Still ahead of his opposite number, Xaxus. Look at this, Jankos coming around. That leaves in 3 versus 1, and as I said before, that turret is actually low.
Yeah, so Rocket can send all the members up here, take the tower. However, it should mean the dragon for Millennium in exchange, and they're actually pinging it now. Finally, they feel confident enough to move towards the dragon.
Well, I think a calculated move from Rocket here. They probably know that that is going to happen to them. Turret is going to go down. Let's see then if the dragon will be following off. Dragon will be taken. Actually, Xaxus doesn't even bother to move up there for a look, and they will take that one. However, can they now stop Rocket from taking this inner turret in the top lane?
At least Rocket can get a lot of damage. Might be able to take it. I mean, look in the base here. Rest of Millennium just recalled. No home guards, of course. We're so early in the game. Doing a lot of damage here. Minions coming in as well.
Yep, they're going to take this tower. Kevin trying his best to lay down some damage, but it's not going to be enough. Syndra moving across as well. Overpow just dodging away from all that damage. And Rocket probably going to be happy with that trade. An inner turret and an outer turret traded for the dragon.
Of course, there's a very good move here. Moving up there, expecting Millennium to start the dragon once Jankos showed in the top lane. And it happened. Just kept pushing down.
They need to react as well because they're still pushing this one, Rocket. Still got 2 there. And they may have a 3rd with Lee Sin. Finally, Morgana will move across. It's Kevin that's trying to defend that inhibitor turret. I think Rocket probably not going to push their luck on that front. That's another good binding landing from Jree. Obviously, support Morgana, not exactly masses of damage going to come through, but good for his confidence as the game goes on that he can still land those skill shots.
Yeah, he's been landing some good bindings at least. Also onto Jankos early on, of course, landed 2 of them. Got him very low. Kerp here? Nope. Yeah, there's the ward. Jankos already gone.
Slightly too late on that. Now, Millennium here. Stacking up a couple of men in this mid lane. Elise just backing away. There's a binding coming in. Actually did land onto Overpow, but Kerp decides against it. That decides against going all in onto that one. Had his ultimate available, had Ignite as well, but obviously felt like he doesn't have enough damage just yet with the workings of that Athene's Unholy Grail.
Yeah, still building up here on his items. We need to remember Syndra, of course, late game can do so much burst damage if you pick the right target. That's always the thing about Syndra. You're very immobile, so we could see Rocket focus a lot of the CC onto Kerp and just kill him instantly because there's no jumps on the Syndra.
Well, probably need to be honest with you.
Sure.
And yeah, that's the point that you make there, why I think a lot of teams tend to avoid Syndra, that she is slow, that she's got real no defense mechanisms apart from when you've got Flash available to you, which Kerp at the moment does have. Again, we can touch on these two AD carries because Creaton still has a lead over Celaver, actually has his Bloodthirster complete. If you look over the other side, Celaver has the BF Sword, has the Vamp Scepter, but hasn't yet finished off that first major item. And with the support down bottom now from VandeR, this turret may take a bit of damage, although we see that KottenX has moved down there as well. Jree has also reappeared in the bottom lane to help his AD carry out, and ROC just decide to back away from things.
Stops the recall here. Kerp has to back away and do the same thing, while Overpow just staying in the mid lane can now push the way off if he wants to. Seems for now he actually wants to go towards this top lane. Never mind, decide to actually go back. So I'm not really sure what Rocket's plan is at the moment. It is running a little bit back and forth. You even see Jankos didn't even buy boots yet, so his mobility isn't even too high at the moment. He's basically just running around, looking for an opening, maybe looking for Millennium to make a play and then try and counter engage onto it.
Let's have a look at this top lane again. Finally, Kevin and Xaxus having time against each other. You see that overall, that global gold in favor of Xaxus, thanks to ROC's turret pressure and obviously how well they're doing overall in this game. He is slightly behind in the CS, does have himself a cutlass and actually freezing this lane close to his turret now as well. Yeah,
but Kevin did manage to do really well in this lane swap because VandeR was roaming around while Jree stayed with Creaton in his bottom lane. So there were always two members to try and deny farm from Xaxus, where Kevin was one-on-one for most of the time. Picked up quite some farm here. Once he returns to the lane though, Xaxus has actually frozen it in front of the tower, so Kevin needs to just wait for it to unfreeze or go up and do it by himself.
This mid lane, thought with two burst-heavy champions like LeBlanc and Syndra that we'd probably be seeing some, let's say, quick action that'll probably be keeping the cameramen on their toes. But up until now, Overpow and Kerp, I think, choosing not really to risk anything on that front. And in fact, it's Kerp that does lead there in terms of the farm. This bottom lane also taking a lot of damage here onto the turret. Creaton not going to be forced to tank anything up. However, Jankos is moving down. Overpow is going to come in as well, and Creaton is not going to be able to escape from this one. They throw everything at him. Celaver gets that one. Meanwhile, Xaxus up in the top lane. He's got his blood well, but will that be enough to actually keep him alive? No, it won't. That's going to be a kill back for Millennium.
Could also be the tower here for Millennium in the top lane, so very nice moves. Kerp doing a lot of damage to the mid tower. Rocket sent multiple members to try and stop them down this bottom lane. Only managed to get a kill, still lost the tower. So very good moves by Millennium now, getting a top tower as well.
Top tower will fall, down to less than half HP. Middle was saved actually by Overpow. And the three of them down on this bottom lane actually having a decent time of things. Only Jree there for now to stop that inner turret from taking too much pressure. And that actually could be a bit of a problem. We see there ROC doing almost half damage to it.
Yeah, just pushing down as well. Both teams trading towers back and forth and trading kills. We see they're actually pretty much playing the same way, just in opposite sides of the map.
Again, we see how Brown can knock out most of the damage there, like Creaton was doing over to him. And it's been a bit of a strange game, this one. Very low scoring and I think very tentative on both teams, on both sides. Neither team really wanting to risk anything, wanting to dive, pile on to anyone. Yes, of course, we saw that 2v1 to Xaxus up on the top side and kills down bottom. But ROC have been quite happy with, okay, we get maybe one kill here or just push them away from the turret and go for those turrets themselves.
And both teams have been happy trading. So once you saw a tower go down the top lane, well, we got the Dragon from Millennium. They did lose a second tower, however, which meant it was in favor of Rocket. But still, they had the whole idea in their mind. Once we see multiple members top, we just go Dragon, take it, trade it for the top tower. And the same thing here. Bot tower went for Millennium. Rocket came down, responded, took the bot tower as well with the counter gank.
So this could be interesting then. Dragon is live. Millennium got 3 men on the bottom side of it. We can see both Aurelia and Aatrox have teleport available, so they can get involved here should they be needed. Millennium actually have backed away somewhat. That's because Overpow's doing some damage to this middle tower. And just the way that it's gone, the slow start, really, the slow opening 15 minutes, tells me that neither team, unless they're 100% sure that they're safe to go into the Dragon, that they're not going to do it.
Well, the thing is, Millennium can wait for Kerp to find a target. He just built DFG, so he can blow up people and just look for a target out of position, instantly destroy them with all the bursts from Syndra, and then go towards the Dragon. And Rocket can try and do the same thing, where either Corki goes in with the LeBlanc, or just Lee Sin and LeBlanc goes in together, finds a target, and just bursts them down, because you have so much burst here in the early game from these champions.
Who's that going to be, though? Who are they going to catch? As the wards going to be exchanged over the top of that wall. Stun, not quite got the range to land onto Overpow. He'd be an ideal target for Kerp to blow to pieces before they start off this Dragon Dance. And actually, ROCAT are already in there, got their pink wards down on one side. And now, are they going to start off the Dragon here? They know that Millennium have a decent force on the backside. I mentioned before, both top laners still up top, but both have teleport available to them.
We need to see who wants to teleport first and how they want to position. If you notice Kevin moving back on your minimap, you know Millennium want to try and set something up. And for the same, Xaxus, he's pretty much forced to stay at the tower for now and just farm, because Kevin keeps pushing it in. He's ahead in XP. He talks about how he won out on the lane swap. No power. Took some burst damage here, or some damage.
Kind of surprised to not see Kerp at least give it a test there, you know? You land the stun, throw everything at him, say, okay, I can kill him right now, which may quite well be the case with that.
He could force him low, force him to recall the base, and then go for the Dragon from Millennium. Instead, though, Rocket starting at the pink ward, he can't even spot the green ward because it's just outside the pit.
Just around the corner from that one as VandeR trying to keep them away. Dragon's actually down to less than half HP. Are ROCAT going to stick to this one? There is a cocoon landing. And they back away. Millennium don't want a piece of this one. ROCAT also letting the Dragon reset. Are they going to start it off again? No. They back away completely. So Millennium stopping ROCAT, getting in there and taking that Dragon.
Just dancing around it. I mean, started. As soon as they see someone moving, Rocket just backs away. Don't even want to try and risk a fight while they're tanking the Dragon at the same time. And they also want full control of where Kerp is moving, because they don't want to get blown up by him. And they want to... He should be the target for him to catch up, because Lucian, he can dash away. Kerp, he can't do anything.
Speaking of Kerp, he's approaching 200 CS. Probably sat on a decent chunk of gold as well. Over 1,000, in fact, that he can cash in the next time he goes home. Same going for Creaton, who's got 1,800 and 1,000 on the jungler as well. And that's the kind of cash that you're gonna want to have in items rather than just pure cash when, or if, as this game seems to be, when the Dragon gets started.
Once it actually gets started, Rocket managed to recall now, spent a goal on both LeBlanc and Corki, and now moving back towards this Dragon area. If they spot Millennium recall at a bad position, they might go straight forward and just force it.
Well, there's blue buff for both mid laners. So they will be feeling more confident. Actually, setting up here possibly in middle. Millennium trying to catch one out. Always hard to land the cocoon or even the binding onto a champion like LeBlanc, who's got the double dash even if he wants to use that ultimate. And there we see pressure now on the turret. That was already down very, very low from earlier on. Finally, Millennium going to put down some damage there, finish that one off, and now they're backing over towards the Dragon area. We'll sweep out a couple of these walls, one from the Death Brush, one from that top River Brush. And now Millennium moving in there, but there's still that pink ward at the front, so ROCAT not without vision at this stage.
It was actually a smart move by Millennium. They saw Corki down his bottom lane and knew, okay, there's not enough Wakeful in his mid lane for them to do anything. And just went straight there from base, killed the tower. It was already low, as you said, because Kerp had gotten it down earlier while Creaton went down the bottom lane. Overall, just picked up a tower. Doesn't change too much when it comes to dancing around this Dragon area, because it's the same deal. Both teams just waiting around, seeing what's going to happen here. But at least all the outer turrets are now gone, so Millennium can at least move further in the jungle of Rocket, get a few deep wards if they want to, and if they actually win the fight here around this Dragon. And then later on use it to find some picks.
Oh, Dragon started off by ROCAT. Ward comes over the top, so they know that that's there. They're going to get this one. Okay. ROCAT finally take the Dragon. It's they're smited away by Jankos in the end. Second one of the game, of course, and the first one for ROCAT. Let's have a look at how that leaves us. Just 900 to 1,000 gold separating these two teams, slightly in ROCAT's favor.
And they were basically just waiting for Millennium to recall. No, he needs to be careful.
Oh, he's face checking. That one gets kicked away. Celaver going to Valkyrie in, and that's an easy kill. Creaton out of position completely. And you know, these slower games, it can happen that you lose your concentration.
100%. I mean, he didn't expect him to move from the Dragon into his bottom lane, so he just walked straight out there, face checked even into them, died, and now a lot of damage. They might even be able to take the tower here from Rocket, and it will be the second tower then they can take. Yeah, they actually got it already.
Oh, there's the stun coming down. They're going to go for VandeR. Kerp is going to pick that one up. Did use his DFG, and a lot to throw at the support, but kill's still a kill. That's going to help Kerp. I mean, he's also sat at 224 CS at this point, so definitely farmed up nicely. And look at this, Kevin going down towards Jankos. Overpow also is killing a ward, which 22 minutes in, that's one of the highlights as well.
Well, 2 towers down the top lane, two towers down the bottom lane.
That's the thing, we're 22.5 minutes in. Actually, we've got no towers except in the base, the bottom, and the top lane here for Millennium. So, although it's been slow on the kills and really on the action as well, ROC have taken their chances here and taken 2 inner turrets.
They played very safe. You can say it's for both teams here, but ROC have just been waiting for Millennium to make one mistake, get a kill, take 1 or 2 towers, take the dragon, you know, get these objectives going for them. And really looking for the big team fights we saw every time Millennium moved towards the dragon. They just backed away. Like, don't even want to deal with it. Just simply waiting around, playing very passive and looking for mistakes from the other team.
There's another ward in the mid lane taken down. Let's have a look at some items. I've got a feeling we've got a couple of minutes to kill until the next fights actually appear in this game. So, mid laners want to focus on them because, as I said before, the DFG and now the Athenes finished off for Kerp. Other side, Void Staff and the Athenes were already there. And we also have for Overpow needlessly large rod and his Fiendish Codex. Are you going to start cheering for wards now as well?
Yes.
We might have to find a replacement.
Simply to annoy you.
Well, there's a trap. Kerp actually going to come in again and start onto Overpow. How are they going to finish him? No, because he's LeBlanc and he jumps away.
Jumped away. Ulti was used by Kerp, however, so got some damage onto him and now pushing up towards this mid lane. Kevin, of course, still in this top lane with Aatrox. Both teleports is up. Celaver, though, is coming in from the side, clearing the way.
Coming in from the side, those bombs of his ultimate doing decent amounts of damage. Working towards his Trinity Force now, already got the Phage and the Sheen. Obviously, he started with the Bloodthirster. And look at Kevin, where's he going to come? Are they going to try and have a go on this middle inner turret? Oh, Overpower waiting off to the side. There is that pink ward in there that they've already spotted with the ward anyway. That's a nice little pickup for Millennium. But what are they going to do with it? Getting some wards down, but backing off, which tells me that ROC are just going to walk straight out there. VandeR's going to start sweeping, and they're going to get the control back.
And also a red buff here. Kerp needs the ulti back before he can pick a target to kill. At least we saw the idea from Millennium. Hide around, get some good wards, try and spot Rocket out, and then land a stun, long-range stun from Kerp. He can actually do it out of vision range from you, so you don't even spot him. He just comes from the fog of war, just whoop, straight in. There's the ball, hits you, stuns you. However, he didn't have the damage to take down Overpower yet. Jumped away. I don't even think he actually had to use the DFG, or could get in range to use the DFG before. But it's Millennium. Both teams actually are just looking for the one pick to then take a tower, to then take a dragon, and try and extend the goal lead. Or catch up.
Or catch up. And there's only 1,500 difference between the two teams. 25.5 minutes in, 4-3 on turrets. We've got more towers down than kills so far, actually, Deficio.
Joe Miller.
Might stay this way as well. We'll have to see about that one. Either way, Dragon in 1.5 minutes. Teams going to start warding up for that one. We can see that VandeR and Jankos already moving through, and they spot a pink ward from Millennium's side, of which will be used to clear out that vision once again.
So Overpow actually went for DFG himself. Normally, once LeBlanc starts with a Fiend, you go into Death Cap, into a Void Staff. He went for DFG, so focus on trying to burst down a target himself. Could be Kerp, of course, but keep talking about how Syndra is a very easy target to pick. And all these wards going down.
Yeah. And important as well because the Dragon.
Yes.
Less than a minute's time. That's Kevin.
Oh, there it is.
I'm still not a fan of encouraging it.
There's a pink more here, though. Oh, he wants it.
Does he know it's there? Well, even if he does, not going to go challenging for that one. backing away. Millennium getting some wards of their own over on the blue buff side. And in the end,
20 seconds for Dragon here. This time around, it's Millennium actually in the river, waiting for Rocket to move. Celaver just dodged the binding on the cocoon from KottenX here. Didn't want to get locked up and just blown to pieces, which of course is the thing about the Millennium comp. When you have Morgana and Elise, double CC, if you land it on one target, you follow up with the next, and they're locked down for like 5 seconds. Very easy for the rest of Millennium to then pick up a kill. So that's, again, one of the reasons Rocket needs to be careful.
This is a vision war if I've ever seen one. There we go, Dragon has spawned, and it started off by Rocket down to half HP. Teleport coming in, Kevin coming up from the top side. Rocket backing away somewhat. Dragon's probably going to reset here. There's Kevin up on the top side. Overpow coming in there, doesn't use the DFG just yet. KottenX also taking a couple of big hits. There's the Cullen coming out and will be blocked by VandeR.
Well,
little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there.
Backing away for now. You saw Overpow in this top lane here, just looking to flank around on Millennium, trying to get a squishy target in the back. He got Kevin, therefore he didn't use the DFG, and now just waiting. Celaver pushing up this bottom lane, and should now return up here. But look here, Xaxus actually recalling because he still has teleport. Kevin had to use his.
Kevin uses.
And there it is. No.
Actually getting some up. Bit risky there from Celaver. Jankos gonna come in there. Takes down the pink one, and we need to see some ward stats from this one. Yeah, crowd obviously enjoying.
At this point, just put down a ward, let them kill it, and hear the crowd cheer.
It's not a bad strategy though.
Nope.
And actually, Millennium forcing Rocket away, just their sheer presence of ward killability gonna force them off. They've started the Dragon as well. A couple of wards coming in. TP gonna get started. Dragon, is he gonna be pulled off from? There's the kick. He's kicked KottenX away. He's gonna repel back in. Dragon goes over towards Millennium. We've already seen 3 kills now coming down from Rocket's side. And there they go. Onto Creaton as well. He gets 1 kill on his way out, but will be picked up in the end by Celaver, and that's 4 kills coming in for Rocket. Millennium, in the end, did get the Dragon though.
Such a good team fight though. Both junglers were actually out of the fight because they were just fighting over the Dragon here, but the rest of Rocket went in, and we saw Overpow. Notice here, Overpow up in the top of your minimap. He's just waiting around. Kerp is actually trying to force him away. Meanwhile, the rest of the teams are just fighting each other. Jree goes down, his stun doesn't proc, and then Kerp, he's the target for Overpow, just waiting and waiting, pops him very low. Celaver joins in. Easy kill for Rocket. And man, the patience on Overpow, just waiting and waiting and waiting. He knew the rest of his team could survive. As soon as Kerp was out of position, jump him, kill him.
One swift move like that from Rocket gets them not only the kills, but the Baron straight away after that one as well. And actually will increase their lead to 5,000 gold. Also taking down that outer middle turret. Still one left on the inner. That's pretty much all Millennium are hanging on to at this stage outside of their base. Now I'm interested to see what Rocket do with the Baron buff on.
Yeah, so if they group up 5 members and just start pushing down the mid lane, it opens up for Millennium to try and get a counter engage onto them. We talked about the Elise Morgana. We know all the burst damage from Kerp here. A lot of chances for Millennium to find a target from Rocket if they're trying to group up and siege. So we might actually see Rocket say, you know what? Rocket say, we don't want to just go 5 mid. We want to spread out on the map and try and do what we've been doing so far in the game. Find a person out of position. Full burst from Overpow, or Xaxus maybe split pushing by himself, finding a target, can join in by the rest of Rocket and pick up a kill, and not necessarily just moving down and try and go for a tower and siege it.
So, half an hour point hit on this one. Guess what? We've got some more items coming out. Last Whisper going to be added in for Celaver. Also, Locket picked up here by Jankos on the Sin, and also we can see the Face of the Mountain completed for VandeR and Brownlee. Last items coming in from that one. And again, I think you might be right on that, you know. They're going to sit back, wait for those picks to come in.
Again, the thing is, it's very hard for Rocket to siege with this combi. I mean, LeBlanc doesn't do too much tower damage. Celaver, fairly short range, and there it is!
What have we become? I'm not sure. So, I mean, let's be honest, it's still better than watching England.
True. I didn't want to say it because of the crowd. Now you said it.
There we go. Finally coming in onto VandeR. I'm allowed to take some English.
Exactly.
We all feel the pain.
And I'm Danish and we're not even in the World Cup.
Just going at it here. Those wards inside of the side brush by the Wraiths. Massacred.
Destroyed.
So.
Almost feel sorry for these wards.
They have souls too. ROC getting full control here at least of the Millennium jungle.
It's what they can do with the Baron buff.
Exactly.
Move down, get some deep wards, try and spot out Millennium if they want to move in for the blue buff or the red buff, and look for this target here. Because you see, ROC can just group up 5 members. It's too risky for them to group up 5 and try and just instantly take down the tower. They need to get a kill or maybe dive onto Millennium. Oh, there, might see it.
Overpow actually catching Kevin here, waiting for those cooldowns to come back up.
Got it.
The dive in, does manage to get it, and now it's 5v4.
Well.
Mid tower going to be pushed. Jankos and Celaver onto that one. Celaver just going to cut out the minion wave before it gets around. Not even needing to tank it. That is another tower. Only the base now left standing for Millennium.
Look here, Overpow moving to join with the rest of the team because there are 5 members here. You might see them go for a dive with Aatrox. Remember, he's passive. Can use it and then get out afterwards. Still 23 seconds on Kevin here. This is the time for Rocket to move in.
I'd agree with that one. Xaxus going to dive in onto the top of it, but nope, denies on that front. And ROC here going to back away on things. Bottom lane actually not pushing in their favor. They do have the top lane pushing from their side. However, bottom lane needs to be dealt with here and pushed through if they want to focus on more than one lane at once. I think is the way to crack the Millennium defensive nut.
We did, however, see Rocket wanted to dive, but the stun from Kerp stopped Aatrox just as he jumped up in the air. The ball hit him, stunned him, and he couldn't actually go for the dive. So at least Rocket, they knew. We're 5 now, only 4 members from Millennium. We can dive this one, we can get the kills, we can take the inhibitor. However, Kerp saved the day.
Kerp saves the day. I think we need some ward-based stats for our statistician there as well. I think that's what everyone would enjoy. Actually, probably the most impressive statistics from this game as well. There's a lot of wards gone down.
I also like how Pangy and Unsu, of course, the observers, just keep following people around, looking for these wards to go down every time. So we catch every single one.
Well, that's good. I mean, there's not much else going on to really miss the ward kills, so whatever. Either way, though, look at that top left-hand corner. Dragons coming up in 20 seconds. ROC already getting in position. We've got Baron coming up in 2 minutes as well, so an action-packed 2 minutes definitely coming our way. 34.5 minutes into the game. ROC's lead extending here. Why not? Some TSM chants in there as well, and there is the dragon. So freebie this time around for ROC.
Of course, I mean, they have control of the map after the Baron. They got some deep wards in to control the lanes, push it all the way down to the base. Picked up, of course, the late game dragon, giving quite a lot of gold over to the side of Rocket, so extending the lead. I have a feeling they might just wait for the Baron, however, to actually spawn and maybe try and bait it out, or just take it straight up and try and do the same thing they did before with the last Baron buff.
Well, most definitely. The way, pensive way that ROC have played this one so far, I don't see them pushing in, thinking about making a move without having that Baron buff in their favor. We see their Celaver a little scared to go down. They've lost a lot of control of the wards that they had on the bottom side of Millennium's jungle, so they certainly need to be a little wary with that one, especially since Baron time is pretty much a death timer at this point. If you die at this stage, you're not going to come back up before that Baron actually comes in play.
Exactly, and that's why Millennium is playing it so safe. You also see all the pink wards for them, placed in their own jungle, because again, they just want to keep the vision, want to make sure Rocket isn't even there warding, and VandeR, of course, setting up some wards around this Baron pit so they can now spot Millennium moving in if they want to try and stop them.
So, Xaxus pushing the bottom lane out. TP is up, as it is for Kevin as well, so Kevin's going to have to go down bottom possibly here in a second to make sure that they don't lose out on that one. And of course, with the Baron up in 10 seconds, everyone getting in there. There's a scrying orb actually used.
A bit early.
Creaton.
Just looking to see if Rocket were waiting multiple members to try and kill them if they moved in here. Could have saved it if Rocket now starts the Baron straight up. They won't have it, of course, but they wait for the cooldown. Still, in a fine enough position. I actually see Jankos taking the blue buff, so he's behind Millennium at the moment.
Yeah, that could actually turn out to be pretty damn interesting. Got vision of them. Have they actually spotted Jankos? They've not spotted him. Here he comes. Will Kim come through. Have they got the damage here? No one really putting the pressure down. Wow. It's Creaton though that's focused. Jankos on the killing spree. Both Jree and Kerp having to back away. But look, the Xaxus diving headfirst into the rest of them. Kevin here pops his Randuins, but Celaver is now unstoppable, and they're going to keep going through on this one. Kerp got no mana to keep himself alive. That's a double kill for Celaver. Are they going to push for it? 50 seconds on Kerp, 35 on Creaton. Are they going to finish the game? I don't think they are. They're going to go back for Baron.
Don't have any minions. If they had minions, they could actually push into the base of Millennium. However, now forced to go back towards the Baron. We'll pick it up unless we see KottenX with the steal.
So, Baron start. That's what you should really be cheering for. Either way, half HP done on that one, and look, we see that Overpow just keeping those two members of Millennium that were actually still on the map away from the Baron area, keeping them in that mid lane. We're going to see Rocket actually recalling here after picking up that Baron, all of them with over about 1500 gold, and there's Jankos from the back again.
Notice here, Jree instantly as the fight starts, puts the black shield on Kerp, so Creaton so far back from the rest of the team, he's just left alone. There's nothing he can do once Xaxus actually comes in. Jankos joins, just kill him, and they can just clean up the fight now. I mean, look at Overpow on the ground, look at Celaver. They're untouched. The carries from Rocket are untouched in these fights here because Millennium can never find an opening.
We saw that a lot of focus is put towards Xaxus, but that's an Aatrox with a Guardian Angel.
I mean, he doesn't care.
There's not really a lot you can do against that Aatrox. We have now a Mexican wave going in the stadium. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
For Rocket, obviously, who are ahead in this game. Baron buff now on. 40 minutes into it as well. See a couple more items coming. Actually, the Banshee's Veil for Celaver, offering him a bit more protection.
Overall, Banshee actually for both sides work really well because of LeBlanc and because of Syndra, of course, to stop some of the bursts coming in there. Now Rocket, though, doing the same thing they did with the last Baron buff. Split up in multiple lanes, push all the lanes down, and then look for a kill. Or we can maybe see them go fight together, and if they feel like they're strong enough, or they catch them out of position, they might just go for the dive.
VandeR actually on the front. They've got Overpow pushing the top wave in, Celaver pushing that bottom lane out as well. Still needs to be careful though. I mean, if Kevin dives on him at this point, Randuins and that Trinity Force might be able to give him a good run for his money, although also have to say that Celaver is pretty fair at this point. 6-0-3. Might be a little bit too tough of a call for him to go in for.
We just need to see Rocket find this one kill to set everything open. Nothing happening so far. Millennium staying very safe in their own base. Don't even want to try and go for any fights, just trying to create a wave every single time. I definitely think Overpow could be the man to get the kill.
Well, you have to feel that 40 minutes in, one kill is pretty much enough to open up the floodgates to get that actually going, so that they can push with all 5 versus 4 on Millennium side. But where is that going to come from? We've got Xaxus and Jankos pushing mid lane constantly. We've got Overpow constantly on top lane, VandeR and Celaver both on the bottom side. Everyone wants to see wards.
Yeah.
It's hard to disagree.
Yeah, sadly, the further into the enemy base you get, the less wards. Oh, that might be the pick.
There it is. He's missed the combo though. Chain's not coming through. That could have been different using everything. And actually, they're going to push into this one. Turret is going to go down with Kerp having to go back here to heal. That offers Rock out their way in. Are they going to stick around? Actually, they're going to back straight away. Surely go to this middle lane or to the top, which both of them pass the halfway point.
Dragon is open, or Dragon is up here. Might just go straight for the Dragon. Actually, no, they're staying around here.
They're just going to wait until that DFG comes back off cooldown, and Overpow's going to be diving over the wall once again, seeing if he can have a go at anyone. Kind of easy to pop the Banshee's Veils when you've got a Corki in your team as well, who can just throw his ultimate in there and stop those Banshees from being so effective. There's a binding actually landing onto Jankos. There is all the damage thrown through, but not really denting ROCAT all that much, and they just turn it back around. Gonna push back in, try and do some damage, then Overpow again onto Jree, but no full combo. He does have the DFG available now though.
We actually see him every time he goes in. He's just looking for one of the squishy targets, and Jree is very fast on his black shields. Getting some damage down the tower, just one hit, and once again Overpow.
Oh, going on towards Kevin this time, who not sure it's the right target, but look at this, Xaxus has gone in the back, they're gonna go for Xaxus, he's gonna get blown up, but he's gonna GA, he's got his passive as well, they're gonna lock him up for a second time. Now you've got to kill him again, as Overpow comes in, they kill Kerp, almost getting away as well. 1 for 1, but ROCAT have taken down the inhibitor, they're gonna have the inhibitor as well, and Celaver gonna dive in there, that might actually cost him here, they do get one more. Celaver, is he gonna fall? Yes he is, finished off there by Creaton, but he will then be finished himself. Oh, will he? He's still somehow managing to hold on. He throws the Colin in the complete opposite direction, and they've repelled the ROCAT attack.
Oh, almost there. Oh, jumps away.
Kevin's not done. Oh,
into the
nicely done. Nicely done move there by KottenX. Meanwhile, look at Creaton. He's inside of the enemy. His own base. I'm getting a little bit too excited, I think, about this one, Deficio. Defending his own base, or not, because he loses that single Nexus turret. And ROCAT, it might not be the flashy go in there, get the fight, win the game.
They get the tower.
Slowly but surely, though, they are going through. They've got one hit down.
So Xaxus simply said, as soon as Overpow actually went in, forced Kevin back, he was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for this one. Jumped in here. The rest of the team actually stayed back and just hit the tower, while Xaxus with Guardian Angel, with his passive, was just buying time for him to take it down. So now open inhibitor in the mid lane. Of course, the bot lane should be respawning fairly soon as well. And of course, Baron coming up in about 1 minute.
Yeah. 1 minute, 10 seconds for the next Baron. A 14 or 15,000 gold lead as it really is for ROCAT. A massive amount of gold. We've already seen, though, that Millennium's still capable of picking up a couple of kills here if they make mistakes about it. The Guardian Angel down for Xaxus would be a slight problem for them. Obviously, his Bloodwell not going to be up just yet either, so if they can actually manage to finish him off, that could certainly be an interesting one. If they can, yeah. I mean, he's still very, very tanky. He's not an easy target to just take down, of course. So apparently the crowd weren't chanting TSM. Oh. They were saying T is yum. That's what Quickshot's telling me. I'm probably just being trolled right now. I'm never quite sure, to be honest. We'll see. So 10 seconds till the next Baron. Kevin's still busy down on the bottom side of their own base, fending off these super minions.
Baron. Happy New Year.
Happy birthday, happy birthday for Baron. He's back up,
now you're dead.
And he's going to die straight away after. ROCAT will have this one. Millennium still fending off these super minions and trying to push out these waves as far as they possibly can before the next ROCAT onslaught comes around. They may actually just be headed home first of all, though. There's 1,200 gold for Xaxus, 1,000 gold for VandeR to spend.
Take your time, why not? This game is not going anywhere. However, ROCAT now. Golden opportunity because 2 inhibitor towers are gone. So they can go straight in, take inhibitor, or force a fight. And then it's only going to be the Nexus towers, or then there's actually only one Nexus
There's only
tower,
one.
Or the top lane as the next target where they might be a little bit scared to go in. But still, keep in mind, with Morgana, with Elise, Millennium still has a chance. As long as they can break these benches first, of course, to maybe land a snare, and maybe go in and instantly kill someone, they will win the fight.
Well, Dragon...
Notice I say maybe.
Maybe. Maybe. Who knows? They get another Dragon, though. 3rd of 5 this game. Actually, they've got as many Barons as they've had Dragons, funnily enough. Now, let's see. ROCAT here. Grouping up on the bottom lane. They've got Xaxus pushing down the mid lane. His GA is going to be up soon, and his Bloodwell is now available. So, he's got the survivability on that one. Also has his... teleport available should that be called in, as Jankos going to get the binding on him, but that's not really something that they want to follow through on. Not really the right target. And watch Overpow, because he's going to be the playmaker here. Dive over the wall and start things off. They need Celaver to knock those Banshee's Veils out of things first, though. So minions are now hitting away on towards that inhibitor in the middle lane. Jankos stepping forward. Kevin's Banshee's Veil somehow still alive. There's Overpow. Not going in there.
Rocket is just waiting for Overpow to actually find a target, try and burst it down, and then try and go for the engage. Xaxus' passive is ready now. He can go in, tank the damage, come back to life, of course. Overpow now moving towards the mid lane, poking a little bit onto it.
And the poke actually causing them a few problems down bottom. Celaver going to set to
nice
going for Jree. He's going to drop down instantly. Kevin's right in the middle of him as well. Kicked around by Lee Sin, and that'll be a double for Celaver. 3 more left to take down. Cully comes out, but that's not really going to do much. Celaver, in fact, tanks it all up. Meanwhile, Kerp will be picked off by Overpow in the mid lane. He's now on a rampage, and Rocket, with 4 kills, only Creaton left to defend the base, are going to push through, finish off the turret, and finish off the game here after 47 minutes.
So Rocket simply in the end here were just looking for one chance to engage. They saw it, jumped onto Jree, who had an hourglass, couldn't use it in time. He went down instantly, and Rocket were just so far ahead in items, and gold in general. It was just a matter of time before they found the right team fight to actually win.
22,000 gold was the lead for Rocket by the end of that one. To say they were ahead is somewhat of an understatement. Actually, Overpow, Xaxus, and Celaver all round about 20,000 gold apiece, all on pretty much full item builds. Tripping up on stage, and not a problem. They won the game 18-5 in kills. It took them 47 minutes and about 47,000 wards, but they did manage to get through it.
Very slow and passive play from both teams.
So you don't get extra points if you do it with style.
True. You don't get extra points for killing millions of wards.
You don't get extra points really at all, and that's the thing for Rocket. We said last week was a forfeit win against the Wolves.
Yep.
Then they managed to take down the Super Hot crew, but that's still not not results that we could really say, okay, Rocket is back, so to speak, to that form that we saw out of them in the spring split. This, however, does go a long way to kind of showing that, and also just to confirm the fact that we thought about Millennium is that they are super inconsistent.
They keep finding new picks, Millennium, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and it's just the same deal over and over for them. One thing we can say about Rocket, at least, from these 2 games we've seen now the last 2 weeks, is the playstyle is safe, very safe, a lot of focus on objectives, and looking for mistakes from the enemy team. Not exactly the team just going straight in and looking for fights.
Well, I think we've just seen almost 47 minutes of exactly that. So we're going to head over to the stage where Shox is ready to speak from Overpow from Rocket. So let's send it over there.
Thank you very much, Joe. Indeed, joined by Overpow here. Congratulations on that victory for you and Rocket. You went for a LeBlanc, and up against the Syndra, some people say a very good Syndra can actually beat out the LeBlanc if it's played correctly. So what did you do to win that matchup?
Well, it's true. Like, I kind of lost some scrims as LeBlanc to Syndra, so I had to play passive, as the whole game was actually. So I would say it's 50-50 matchup, but I didn't want to risk. So yeah, I had to play passive because I kind of wanted to win, and we knew that we have the late game with LeBlanc and Atrox. So yeah, it was easy decision for me to play passive.
To say passive, no, the game wasn't passive at all. Just kidding. It did actually take a while to close it out for you guys. But tell me how you were able to build up the advantage in the mid game. What did you guys do right to get on top of them?
Well, I think that we got a pretty good advantage over the Drake fight, where we killed up 4 and got the Nashor, obviously. Yeah, from there, I think they were kind of scared to fight us, and we could have like initiated with my W and just use my full combo. Then someone was low, and we could have just take the easy towers and inhibitors. So that was our plan, to just in the late game use my W, use my QQ, and someone was low, get the turrets, and win the game.
Well, finally, you guys are playing here, of course, on this great stage in the Wembley Arena. What has it been like to play here in front of this awesome crowd?
It's amazing crowd for me. It's the biggest crowd I've been playing for, and it's really loudly. And it's amazing. Like, you guys are really rocking this stage.
They absolutely are. And you guys as well just now. Victory coming in for Rocket. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right, as for us, it's time to break down this game at the analyst desk with D-Man and Trevor.
Thank you very much, Sharks. So, we're going to go through that game. First off, let's talk about the pick and bans that came out from that one. Millennium pretty much got their standard setup. They got the pick comp, they had the cocoon, they had the dart binding, but they also had Syndra.
Yeah, they did. Like the Syndra pick, it fits Kerp's playstyle. High damage, single target, blow somebody out. The problem is, it was into LeBlanc. And this is something that we were talking about backstage. Pro players are like, yeah, Syndra into LeBlanc's fine, Syndra into LeBlanc's fine. We haven't seen it in the LCS.
So let's talk about the fight around the Dragon, because we had a replay for you guys. It was all about ward control, I think it's safe to say.
Oh, this crowd is definitely for it. Let's actually pull that replay up onto your screens, because I do feel that we need to emphasize and we need to highlight the key moments in this. So let's roll this clip out. And I think the audience is going to help me as we watch the game-changing moments unfold. So let's roll this clip out, guys, and we can just see how it plays out. Now pay very careful attention.
Here he goes.
Now, in all seriousness, after the ward fight, Roccat did gain control of the pit, and you will notice a fight will actually happen. It took a long time to build up. Roccat are going to get control of the pit, and the very important thing is that Millennium, they don't know how to handle Roccat. They don't know how to deal with the engage. And Roccat, they were ahead. It just took a very long time for them to actually make that lead count. We do have to give some props to KottenX for coming back into the pit even after being booted over to the wall. A little bit of misplay from Roccat, and you know, 3 for 0 at the end of it. Roccat come out ahead.
Yeah, and it was Celaver again, got a triple kill there, I believe he did. He got a couple of triple kills in this game, so if you've got him in your team, then actually I think most people have probably dropped him.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing that this replaying game highlights, both Millennium and Roccat really struggle with the strategic decision making. They really struggle to push advantages and get control of the game, and both of them need to go back to the drawing board and learn from this match.
Yeah, fantastic match, nevertheless, and we got a big one coming up. We're going to take a break, though. We'll be right back with the last match of the day. Gambit will be facing off against Fnatic, so stay tuned.
Oh my god, I'm gonna play so good today. If you first pick me Lucian, it's instant win.
There's the kick. He's kicked KottenX away. He's going to repel back in. Dragon goes over towards Millennium. No one really putting the pressure down. Wow. It's Creaton though that's focused. Jankos on the killing spree. Both Jree and Kerp having to back away. But look, Xaxus diving headfirst into the rest of them. Is Celaver going to dive in there? That might actually cost him here. They do get one more. Celaver, is he going to fall? Yes, he is. Problems down bottom. Celaver going to set to the side. Going for Jree. He's going to drop down instantly. Kevin's right in the middle of them as well. Kicked around by Lee Sin, and that'll be a double for Celaver.